they're finished doing the thing across the street that they were doing. Would you like to see what they were doing? Apparently my neighbor gets this service. So like they get this truck, that's the truck across the street in front of my neighbor's house, to come and wash off their trash cans. Never had seen that before, and it's pretty loud. I mean, I've seen it before over there, but I've never seen anybody else do that. So anyway, that class survey about when your students were young, that's what we were looking at, so let's just go back over there. So I was just saying that the different levels each have their own set of slides. So you're gonna have to delete some of these slides, because if you're talking about primary school or elementary school, then you're gonna use these, and then there's one about at middle school. So just don't try to use them all. And then those are just extra ones. So basically you're gonna just tabulate your students' responses. And then this has these draggable elements for the students, so they can actually, like, if you're doing this online, we'll put these into a slideshow for you so that they can drag these around to, like, I liked this, I don't like this, and it's all kinds of things like activities, naps, going to sleep, taking a bath, all that stuff. So that should be fun. Or you can just use this and, like, you know, put a text box, whoop, sorry lady, or girl in middle school, and you can put a text box into the slideshow and just type, because if you're interacting with your students in person, you might want to just not have them drag things around because they're not on their own device, just depending. So here is this reconstruction simulation. So this simple version of the slideshow is, I think, what we're going to be releasing, so I'm just going to go to this one. So like I said, this is still comparing in the present and past. So it says slavery is dead, and there's some big questions. This is a picture of some people finding out about emancipation. And then it kind of just like zooms in on certain groups of people so that you can see their expressions and, you know, do more description of them. And with this, you know, maybe you're only going to be describing in the present, but you could also talk about, like, you know, what do you think they're feeling now? You know, what were they feeling, you know, before they learned this news? To kind of have kids, like, develop some empathy and identify with, you know, the feelings of someone who was enslaved their entire life. This is some just background information that I made myself. And this is a picture from 1866 of, you know, an announcement about the Emancipation Proclamation. It was obviously pretty big news for a while, because 1866, people are still making pictures of it. This is a picture of some Union troops. And you can see that it's integrated, and so there's black and white soldiers. And so this is like sort of the simulation part. It's asking kids to imagine that, like, they are in the situation of these two people, and I try to pick people that kind of look like they might be same general age as our students. And so, like, here's a situation. So this is a lot about, like, describing now versus the past. So this is kind of like you're just doing like a little lecture or slide talk or whatever, or slide show. So this is the family, and this is the house that is on the plantation of the Green family, but, like, they're not the Green family, and they don't live in this house. They may have built this house, or, you know, their relatives or, you know, fellow people living on being enslaved or living too and working might have built this, but, you know, they don't live there. They live in, you know, probably one of these, more like a little tiny, not so fancy shack, I guess you could call it. So, like, here's the people working, and here's, like, the conditions, and then this is all kind of like, at this point though, this would all be in the past. So, like, all this is before emancipation. So, and here's the family, and I literally, like, put blue background here just to make it look like a super, like, nice and cool and air conditioned to contrast with, you know, these conditions. And then you are going to talk about these, like, various artifacts. So, like, you know, a family that was enslaved is not going to have a lot of possessions, but, you know, many families would have these heirlooms or things that are super, you know, precious to their family that have been passed down. So you have the students vote on one of these, and then you basically, whatever one they vote on, you're going to pick one of these slides, and you're going to just describe, like, before liberation and emancipation, like, what would this have meant to your family, and then now after, what does it mean to your family? I probably wouldn't be like, what would it have meant? Like, if I'm speaking French to the kids, I would be like, what did it mean? You know, what did you think about this? And then afterwards, like, what do you think about this? So that's the first day. And then the second lesson, it's all about, like, afterwards, right? So afterwards, these people were not going to be, you know, just relaxing over there after 1865, you know, having other people literally slave away to do all their work and enrich this family. They've now lost that ability. And so this is just kind of like a little bit of factual background information. So those troops at the end of the war had been joined by, like, this is Sherman in Savannah, Georgia, after he marched through the state of Georgia, and so, like, these people, like, they had picked up a lot of freed people along the way, like, not just in Georgia but all through the whole, like, march, because they would tell the people that they met, like, about emancipation, and they would, a lot of them, not a lot, I don't know the percentage, but there were a lot of people that eventually were part of this, like, big marching, you know, force that was going through Georgia, and they were just kind of, like, trailing along because they didn't really know what to do with themselves now that, you know, they basically escaped slavery with only their life, usually, to speak of, and no kind of resources, you know, except their clever brains and their, you know, desire to survive. Other than that, like, no physical resources to live on, in most cases. And so Sherman basically made this arrangement to take the lands that were seized from the rebel landowners in the Confederacy and distribute it to the formerly enslaved folks. So this is kind of like, yay, these people are learning that, you know, emancipation has happened. And so this is like before versus after, right? So before, these guys could vote, and enslaved folks could not vote. Well, this man could vote, not the rest of his family. But now they can't vote. And, you know, before, these guys couldn't even vote. Now they can vote, and they're actually voting for black senators. So this is a historical picture, a portrait of these black senator and representatives. So, like, you know, before, these guys, like, used these people's labor and laid claim to their entire existence in order to, you know, maintain their lifestyle, but now that's gone. So whereas before we had the family out there, like, laboring in the fields, you know, this maybe was not always realistic, because, to be quite honest, the system of sharecropping quickly became the replacement for white Southerners' ability to exploit and dominate the labor and lives of their new fellow citizens, who they, you know, set up the Jim Crow South. So this is, you know, the family out there, like, having to support themselves. So that's the end of cycle 1. What we're gonna do. So at the end of this, you know, you're gonna basically would set up, like, a T-chart or write a compare contrast paragraph to talk about, like, before and after what has changed, before and after emancipation. There's all kinds of other stuff and resources, but I'm not really gonna talk about that now. So I'm really excited about this topic because I like this whole phase a lot. I like them all, but I'm really excited about this particular topic because when I got this book, it's over there, but I'm not going to get it out, called Teaching for Black Lives, and this simulation was somewhat mentioned, and then I found this and this website, and you can learn more about how it was originally intended to be taught, but it was intended to be in, like, a high school social studies class with people who are mostly, like, real proficient in English, so I had to do a lot of modifications and make all those graphics and stuff. But if you want more information from Rethinking Schools, it is there. Okay, you guys, I am real excited about this phase, and in your eye, in your face, Hargadon. Anyway, I am excited to see you guys start it. Okay, bye.